inner awakening versus outer awakening, and what is my role, this character's role, Saeed, the character, this character. What is my role in all of this? So, inner awakening and outer awakening. Inner awakening is an awakening to self, is an awakening to the true identity of who you are. And that's the pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure love, pure light, pure compassion, pure energy, you know, pure bliss, Satchit Ananda, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss, absolute existence. That's the inner awakening. And there are many ways to facilitate that inner awakening. There are many ways of getting to that place, you know, psychedelics, sexual union, meditation, the most classical one and the most durable one, because you could really get to next level places, and it's all on your own, because you are on your own. The being that you are is alone, all one, alone. And inner awakening has, very little to do with outer awakening. And then there is outer awakening. Outer awakening is waking up to the drama that is the planet Earth's drama and all the galactic drama. I mean, Earth is just a sort of a pawn in the game. It's just a part of this galactic war that's been going on for eons, between the light and the dark, the dark, the light force, the force, and then the dark light, the dark force, Darth Vader. And George Lucas was very much an insider, by the way. The maker of Star Wars. He was very much an insider. He definitely had something to do. He probably was in the inner circles of the Illuminati and all these secret societies, and he's a good dude, and he made a movie about it. So a lot of the stuff you see in Star Wars, that's describing what is. Okay, that's describing the galactic war that has been happening for eons. So outer awakening is an awakening to the cosmic drama. You wake up to the matrix, you wake up to the socioeconomic matrix. You realize that all the systems in place, all the institutions are corrupt and faulty and fear-based. That's outer awakening. And so you see some people, for example, I'll give you a few names of people that focus, their main focus is on outer awakening. You've got David Icke, David Wilcock, there's a lot of names out there, but these two for me right now is sort of the two that I'm listening to and sort of going off their research and looking all this stuff up. And they focus very much on the outer awakening part of things. They focus on the exposing the corruption, exposing the hierarchies, the governments, the institutions, and that's their main focus. And then you have people who primarily focus on inner awakening. I got a lot of names there. Eckhart, Tolle. Let's just talk more broadly here. Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, right? Jesus. You don't really hear Buddha, for example, talk about reptilians and the thing is, what you gotta understand about Buddha and Buddhism in general is they describe all this stuff. They describe demons. It's all there in the books, in the scriptures, right? But still, you will see a much more focus in Buddhism overall, and Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma overall. You'll see much more focus on the inner awakening, right? So you'll see a lot of meditation, mantras, and just waking up to who you are, being present, living here in the now, right? Whereas people whose focus on outer awakening, that's their role. And you listen to some of David Icke's work and some of David Wilcock, they talk about inner awakening, very much so. But their level of focus is mostly on the outer awakening, you see? And I think both, in this time and age are necessary. It's important to be well adversed in both, to do your meditations, do your mantras, do your prayers, do your whatever your ritual, do your Sufi dancing, whatever your ritual is, whatever the way it is, your psychedelics, tantric sex, whatever, just to get to that place of union, that place of love, that place of bliss, that place of joy. It's very important. And I think it's just as important, because this is the dance, right? Just as important to be involved in the drama of life, involved in the movie, involved in the yin and yang drama, the play of the divine, you know, the good and the evil, and really educate yourself about politics, about the galaxies, all the different ET races, etc., etc., etc. You see, and that's where I come in. That's where my role is. I'm a transmitter of everything, all these, all both inner awakening subjects and outer awakening subjects. And yeah, so the sun is just about to go down, so I guess I could look at the camera now. So my role in this is to transmit to whoever is ready to hear about both inner awakening material, outer awakening material. So you look at this channel, I've got now probably almost 1,000 videos. I've covered so many topics on Eastern mysticism and wisdom and enlightenment and consciousness and psychedelics and the nature of reality and simulation theory and all that stuff, and I continue to do that because that remains my favorite part of it, being really. That's still like, because really it's just being. But at the same time, lately I've been covering more and more stuff related to the outer awakening, right? Because they're both related, they're the same. Because the outer awakening is an awakening to the suppression of consciousness. So what happened to me is I woke up to who I am through, experimenting with psychedelics and meditation later on, and really just spending a lot of time in nature doing both. I start to experience this bliss, this ecstasy, this incredible feeling of joy and not needing anything, and it's an incredible feeling. And then I start to ask myself, how come I didn't experience that all my life? And I keep asking the questions, how come nobody around me experiences that ever? Like anybody who's on the street, never, ever. It's funny. It's funny and tragic at the same time that most people have never experienced that. They don't know what love is. They don't know who they are. And it's possible that many people go through their life from birth to death completely programmed, never having thought a single original thought, never having figured out who they are. It's totally possible that a lot of people will go to their graveyard having never even grasped a glimpse of who they really are. So then I start to ask myself all these questions. How come I didn't know about this feeling? How come I didn't know I'm loved? How come I didn't experience this bliss all my life? How come I felt terrible, tired, exhausted? How come everyone around me is the same way? How come there's so much violence? How come people don't love each other? And then you ask yourself that, and then the outer awakening kicks in. So I think most people, they go through outer awakening, then they go through inner awakening, because or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in that way, but for me, the way it happened is I went through the inner awakening, and I guess now I'm going through the full outer awakening, because I always knew there was something wrong with society, but it's only lately that I'm exploring it to the true depths. I'm looking into aliens now. I'm looking into extraterrestrials. I'm looking into, all that galactical war that's been going on for eons, and it's pretty fun. Cosmic drama is pretty fun, actually. It's pretty amazing how, all of this is the play of the divine, and how it's just the divine playing with itself, and it's really like taking all these roles like pretty seriously. I mean, these reptilians, like their consciousness too. They've just like chosen the dark side, like Darth Vader. Darth Vader, he trained with Wan Nobi, or what was his name? Anyway, Wan Nobi or something, you know. Anyway, the guy with the white beard, right? Very the benevolent guy. And he trained with him, right? He trained with Luke's father. He was light, and then he chose the dark side, and that's the reptilians. Their consciousness too. It's all the play of the divine, the play of consciousness. The reptilians are jinns, they're demons, you know, everybody talked about them, Buddha talked about them, that's the realm of the demigods. Demigods is one of the six realms. There's many different names. I've been calling them reptilians lately because, it's pretty funny. I just call it. It's kind of hilarious. So anyway, so yeah, lately I've been sort of going down these rabbit holes and I've been sharing here, and I think it's important for all of us to investigate both, to go through both, and whenever you feel the urge to go through to one rabbit hole, go in there deeply, and whenever you feel the urge to go through the other rabbit hole, but keep them there simultaneously, you see, because that's the dance of wisdom and compassion, you see, because wisdom, you could just sit in a cave and meditate all your life and be in pure bliss, and that you're just your consciousness all the way through, and then but what happens there is you could neglect compassion, because everyone is you, so you kind of have to help also, you see, you kind of have to help also. So it's the dance of the wisdom and the compassion, those the marriage, the sacred marriage of wisdom and compassion. Those are like basically the main themes in Buddhism, by the way, wisdom and compassion. And so the wisdom is the meditation, the contemplation, the solitude, spending time in nature, feeling happiness and joy and being bliss and just sitting there on a beach for 3-4 hours and just being in bliss, without giving any single thought to the cosmic drama, without thinking about it at all. But what happens usually once you go in that modality is you get so compassionate, and you become so at one with everything and everyone, that you can't help but want to come back and help. And that's the outer awakening. And so you start to investigate the world, how it's currently running, and how can I help in that way. And you begin to do your thing, whether it's spreading awareness, whether it's doing whatever. And so in that way, everybody's got a role to play. Like last year around this time, I was watching David Icke's stuff for the first time, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, damn, like there's some truth to that. But then I thought to myself that he's just kind of being too extreme, taking the whole thing too seriously, right? And then now, a year later, I've been listening to his stuff again, and it all makes perfect sense, by the way. It all makes perfect sense. And now I've been listening to other people who basically, they report the same thing independently. Even the Pleiadians, they talk about a lot of stuff David Icke talks about independently, by the way. If you listen to some of the channelings of the Pleiadians, they talk about the moon by Barbara Mansignac, I think. And, this was independent. David Icke came to the conclusion on his own, and that was just completely independent. Right? And they were saying, the Pleiadians were saying that, just like David Icke said, that the moon is a sort of a spying, it's not a natural object, it's a spying satellite placed there by these dark forces to spy on Earth and to affect the Earth in a negative way. That's why on the full moon days, there's more crime, more agitation. And anyway, so that's just one little thing. And so what I was saying is I thought, he was just being a little too extreme, like I always thought, oh, David Icke just needs to sit down and meditate and feel bliss and blah, 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 blah. Was being judgmental. But now I realize that no, actually, no, not at all. And I listened to some of his stuff on inner awakening, consciousness, and everything. The guy is pretty fucking woke, and clearly he knows who he is. But he definitely recognizes that he's here on a mission, and his assignment has to do more with the outer awakening. You see? And so he's doing his role perfectly, and everybody's doing their role perfectly. And somebody whose only wish is to sit in a cave and meditate all their life, they're playing the role perfectly, because that's the way they're actually affecting the world in a positive way, just by sitting in a cave. So then everybody plays their role. So that's why know your role. And my role then is to combine both sides of the equation, the wisdom, the inner awakening, the state of being, the state of, because, in a state of being, like, you don't really care about the cosmic drama. You don't give a shit. You're sitting there in pure bliss. You don't care. You actually don't give a shit, right? Because you're outside of it. You're playing all these different roles. You get a crack, a laughter out of the whole thing, if anything, right? So that stuff I cover here, I transmit it here, and then there's also the other stuff which I transmit here. So then my role is a transmitter of both worlds, wisdom and compassion. Compassion is taking compassionate action, spreading awareness, however, wherever, to improve the state of affairs of the world and of the planet and all the sentient beings that live within it, because it's you. In that state of being, you realize you're everyone. So then you get so filled up with compassion, and then you're like, well, I gotta do something here. I gotta help myself in the drama. But then it's a drama. That's different. See, that's different, because then you come in and it's a drama. So you do it from a place of lightheartedness. And my role is to transmit that, all of that. So you will see that this particular YouTube channel is one of the most versatile YouTube channels, in the sense that it covers a wide range of topics, right? I mean, if you would like to go deeper into, say, UFOs and aliens, you go to specific people. So what I could do in this channel is I could always point you just by, like, I knew as soon as I started talking about the galactic wars and ETs and starseeds and reptilians, a lot of you guys messaged me saying, or left comments saying, ever since you made that video, I've kind of went on a rabbit hole. I've been watching David Icke's videos. I've been this. So that's my role, actually, is I can't go too deep into one particular thing. I can't go too deep into it. I mean, if you want to learn how to be a master meditator, there's some pretty cool Buddhist channels specifically that I follow. They'll teach you, and so I suppose that's my role, is to bring into your awareness all these different things, and then you could go look up the special people in that, like you're not gonna go to a Buddhist monastery and talk aliens to them, because their specialty is inner awakening. You see, their specialty, unless they're it depends actually on the particular Buddhist tradition. Theravada, their specialty is meditation. That's the old school Buddhism. Their specialty is inner awakening. So you go learn that from them. But maybe you could talk more about that stuff maybe with Tibetans, because they're a lot more into helping. They're a lot more into the bodhisattva, the bodhisattva role, right? So it really depends also who you're talking to. But you go to the particular whatever tradition, person, teacher that can teach you something about that one thing especially, right? And I realized specializing is not my thing. It's not my role. To specialize in one thing. My role is to bring to you all these different things, and talk about them and go into some detail, and then you could go and explore further from there on, right? So it's very interesting. It's very cool to know your place. And I think one thing you could take out of this video is know your role. It's really good to know your role because uh, you are all on assignment here. Most of us here are star seeds. Most of us here are sent from other systems, other star systems, and we're here on assignment. We're here on assignment. One of you guys watching, your assignment might be to make the best, positive, uplifting, joyful music, and that's your assignment. You see? So it really depends. Everybody's got a different assignment. So that's the thing. Get in touch with that, and so then you will be very happy. Then you'll be very, very happy because you'll be aligned, and everything will be aligned, and the universe will serve you in every step of the way if you are living in harmony with your assignment. Okay? So thank you to everybody watching this video, and thank you to all the beautiful patrons. And a testament that I am indeed in alignment with my assignment, with my role, is that ever since I released donations and patrons, it's been really good, and that just shows me that, hey, look, you're in alignment. You're really in alignment, and we will help you. The universe will help you. So thank you very much. If you'd like to join the Patreon family, there's a link down below. If you want to just make a one-time payment on PayPal, also you could do that. There's another link for that in the comments as well. Love you guys, every single one of you, and until next time, may the force be with you.